So Ms. Gray, what I'm trying to understand is he did predict, you told us earlier, that if you don't do certain things to your car, the front is going to collapse.
Which it did.
And that is literally what happened. Are you saying that the front collapsed for a reason other than what he believed?
I know the front collapsed because
How do you know?
Because he didn't put the lug nuts.
How do you know that the absence of lug nuts would cause...
Because that my tire came off of the thing.
How do you know that the car didn't collapse onto the tire and that's why it popped out?
It's a heavy truck.
I don't know. I don't know. The whole thing was to focus on my back. Now, let's say that my...
Okay, but hold on, because the analogy here to me is if my daughter goes to the hospital and she says, ugh, my stomach really hurts. And he says, like, well, you have an infection. We need to clear it. And I say, no, I only want you to focus on the tummy.
No.
But the doctor says, but the problem that's leading to the stomach ache is actually, you know, an infection in the brain, right? That's why you're having stomach aches.
Mm-hmm.
You can't really say to the expert, well, I just focus on the stomach because that's where it's hurting. It's the same for a car, is it not?
When I went to go pick up a car, he never, ever, ever said anything about, well, you need this more in your front, you need this more in your front.
What about when you went to him initially?
When I told him that let's focus on the back and everything, he said, well, you need this done in the front. So I said, okay, how much are you gonna give me? Because I only got $1,000. He said, I'll do the front and then I'll put a caliber on your back. Is that gonna stop the boom, boom? Yes, that's gonna stop it from boom, boom. That's gonna stop the noise. I said, okay, how much? He said, 800. I said, okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and open this up to my colleagues for more questions.
Well, here's the thing, Ms. Gray. In your complaint, you said he inspected my SUV. I informed the defendant that the noise was coming from the rear, but he insisted the front needed urgent repair and claimed the front end would collapse.
Yeah. So he did it. He did it because he said he would do it. And I asked him, well, how much are you going to charge me? He said, $800.
If there were repairs that cost $1,200 and you said, I only have $1,000, why on earth would he say, no problem, I'll do them for $800?
I don't know. He came out, he's the one that said 800.
And you understood that to mean that all the issues in the front and all the issues in the back
whatever
were
he was
fixed.
talking about in the front, he will handle it because he said he'll put just a caliber, he'll put a caliber in the back and that would stop the noise.
I want to get back to your allegation that the problem with the front end collapse came from him leaving lug nuts off. I'm going to get back to the picture that you did submit. The tire is still on
the car.
On the car. It didn't come off as it would without lug nuts. What do you think happened to this car right here that caused that problem?
The upper control arm collapsed. It has a ball joint. Just say this is your arm. The same car is the same like a human body. Yeah. It goes into a knuckle, which is this is the steering knuckle. It's inside of it. So now if that ball joint that goes in there breaks, now your wheel is like that.
What are these photos supposed to show us?
Yeah, that show you that when her car left, every one of the wheels had
lug nuts.
He's lying. He did not take those pictures until the next day he was in the shop because he had my car.
All right.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go ahead and excuse the parties while we deliberate in this matter. Thank you both.
We have a verdict with a dissent. Ms. Gray, Judge Menser was the dissent. He would have awarded you the $800 that you spent on the repairs and nothing more. Judge Juarez and I believe that you failed to meet your burden today. And the reason why we feel that way is because the defendant identified the problem and predicted the very thing that happened without the proper repairs being made. And no one who would repair a car in a bad way, insufficiently, incorrectly, would predict what would happen. So we just feel that, you know, with the burden being on you to prove your case today, you just didn't meet that burden, and the majority rules in this court. And because of that, we're going to dismiss your case today. That is a verdict.